Well, we have come to know Hari Krishna as a great endgame expert. And also, he's a wonderful positional player. How does he do that? How does he play the endgame so well? This is a perfect game to tell you more about it. This is Hari Krishna taking on Yasser Kuseda Perez in the second round of the World Cup 2021. The first game between these two ended in a draw. So this is the second game. Hari Krishna has the white pieces, and let's begin. So Hari opens the game with 1 e4, c5, it's the Sicilian, and we have the Rosolimo on the board. e6, castles, knight g7, rook e1, a6, and Hari Krishna brings back his bishop to f1. b6 is like a relatively lesser known move. The main move here is d5, and you take and then d4. This is how the play usually continues, but b6 was played by Kuseda, and here after c3, d5, pawn takes, knight takes. Hari went d4, pawn takes, knight takes, bishop b7, and an interesting decision here, knight f3. Now, when you move your knight again in the opening, it doesn't guarantee you an advantage. You know, the position is roundabout even. But it's an interesting position, and after bishop e7, c4, knight f6, bishop f4, black took the queen, rook takes, and we are now coming into an endgame. Knight e4 was played here, and it was Hari Krishna's turn. What would you play here as white? Try to pause the video and think. It's a very, very interesting decision by the India number 2. Okay, the first move that comes to my mind is knight bd2, trying to exchange off the active knight. Maybe he'll go to knight c5, and or maybe he may even take it. The position looks okay. What Hari Krishna did here was he played the move knight to c3, and it's a tremendous move, I feel, because it not only doubles your pawns, but it also gives him isolated double pawns. So they are weak, but Hari Krishna understands that because of these double pawns, he gets the open b file, and the b6 pawn is weak. Here it was black's move, and Kuseda Perez naturally played the move bishop to c5, which is kind of nice. You put your bishop on a good square, defend the pawn on b6. But there was a better move here, and I would like you to think about it. It also shows how important it is to be alert of your opponent's possibilities. Well, if you found the move knight to b8, you are just an unbelievable positional player, because this was not even found by the 2565 rated GM. The point is the knight will now come to d7, where it will defend the pawn, and also bishop takes f3 is a dangerous move which will further create a doubled isolated pawns. So let's say if I go rook b1, then bishop f3, gf3, and bishop c5. Black is doing pretty well here. Also, if you played knight e5 in this position, I have f6 to kick away the knight. If you went knight d2, I have knight d7. And I think in all lines, black is doing pretty okay. But to find the move knight b8 is not at all easy. So bishop c5 was played. Now Hari Krishna played rook a b1, rook c8, knight to d2 in this position, knight a5, and now knight went to b3. And you can see Hari Krishna's strategy has actually worked out, because if you take knight takes a5, knight takes b3, a b3, then this structure becomes very strong, especially b4 coming up. White would be better here. So bishop e4 was played, rook b2, bishop a3, the rook moved to d2. Now you can't take the pawn, because after bishop takes, rook takes, there is a check on d8, and it's a mating attack there. So castles was played, and Krishna now took the knight ba, and in fact it's black's pawns which are now really mangled up on the a file, and Hari wants to enter and attack these pawns, but somehow the bishop controls this square. So very natural move, bishop d6, bishop takes d6, rook takes d6, and now came bishop b7. It's your move once again. Pause this video and try to figure out what to play here as white. When I was seeing this game, I was thinking about moves like rook d7, getting the rook on the 7th rank, rook b6, attacking the bishop, rook b1, trying to attack the bishop here. So in this way, try to create play over there. But it somehow is not working. Rook b6, he goes rook c7, I go rook b1, he puts his bishop on c8. Black is somehow clinging on here to the position. The move that Hari Krishna played, and which is tremendously impressive. I mean, I cannot praise this move enough. The move is f3, and the idea is that right now it's not enough to attack here, and black is defending. So why not I improve my position with bringing the king into the game? We often talk about king is a very important piece in the end game. We try to speak about it, but very rarely we put it into practice. Here we see Hari Krishna doing just that. He brings his king in, and actually when the situation demands it, it's this king which wins the game. You will see that. Rook f c8, now rook b6, king f8, and rook b1. Now there's no square on c8, so actually black loses a pawn. Hari Krishna is clearly winning here. The technique could have been better from Hari's end. Like in this position, he played it all fine. Rook a8, takes. Here, perhaps rook to b6 would have been much better. He went g3. He had this plan of playing f4. I think after e4, maybe black has good defensive chances here. Black went king d6, which is also fine. c5, king d5, c4. He took the pawn. King takes. And here rook e7 was good move. And here black should have played rook d7, trying to activate his rook down the 2nd rank. And I think he has enough compensation to hold the balance. But here black started to go wrong. He went king d4. Hari now played the move rook b6. The better move was rook d1. But you are afraid that the king will come in and start attacking this pawn. Somehow it's not so dangerous. Like let's say c5, king b3, rook b1 check, king takes a3, and you go rook b6. The king is cut off. It's difficult for humans to think this way. He went rook b6, and now king c5 was necessary. But when you have played your king to d4, it's difficult to go back. So he went rook c7, but this was the final mistake of the game. As after bishop e2, rook c8, e6, king went back, and now Hari Krishna finished off the game with a flourish. There are many ways to win, but his move was the simplest. He took on c6, rook takes, king came in, and now after rook c7, bishop d1 attacking this pawn, rook a7, king f6, threatening to push the pawn, rook a6, king f7, check, e7. Quezada Perez resigned, and Hari Krishna moved to round 3. If you go king d6, I have c5 check, and that's the reason why there is no way to continue the game. Beautiful end game play by Hari Krishna, and I think there were a couple of things to learn from this. One is that it's okay to get your structure ruined with the move knight c3 here, which is really phenomenal understanding of chess. And the second one is, when there is nothing concrete, why don't you improve your position? And that could also be the king with the move f3, bringing the king in the center. I hope you enjoyed this and learned from it and will apply it in your games. This is Sagar Shah signing off. Bye bye.